Yeah, a gun is like the ultimate digital coupon.
It's true.
And I
Yeah,
mean digital
absolutely.
because you use your finger to pull the trigger. Um, yeah, all right, let's start the show here. I'm Alexander Edward,
And I'm Tony Boswell.
and we are Minion Death Cult. The world is ending. Anti police California allowing cops to have killer robots is
What?
responsible. We're documenting it. What's up,
Oh,
everybody? Welcome to the show. So happy to have you here. Okay, so I was, I felt weird about the story that I told up at the top of the show, about not wanting to call the cops on these kids and having conflicting emotions about it. And like, I understand if you don't really if you don't understand. But to help illustrate my point about why I didn't call the cops, I have a couple stories here. No, just kidding. This was entirely coincidental. It's just every day there's a story about why you should
they're
never call
readily
the
available.
cops. Okay, this is from Como News. This is a Seattle local story that came into my feed and was just astonishing stuff. Police shot, killed I-5 carjacker after he charged them with a knife, investigators say. So again, it's like
Jesus.
just use investigators say. So you're just using the police report as the headline, not even as like the
Yeah.
body of you're just doing stenography in the headline. Officials said the
And it's
man
such
could.
like that's not even in quotes. It should be in quotes,
Sure, yeah, that would
right?
be like a half attempt at couching
Yeah.
or adding a caveat to this. Uh, Officials said the man continued to refuse to come out of the semi truck, so authorities used pepper ball rounds, flashbangs, and other less lethal munitions to get him out. I'm gonna read from the article here.
Rare.
This is Lacey, Washington. After a 4-hour standoff with police, a man that carjacked and crashed a semi truck on I 5 was shot and killed by police, investigators say Tuesday. Washington State Police received calls of a man running into traffic on I 5 early Friday afternoon around 1:45 p.m. The man was causing traffic to come to a stop and attempting to open multiple car doors. At approximately 1:53 p.m., the man reportedly assaulted and forced the driver of a semi truck out while taking control of the vehicle. I don't know how you do
Can't.
that. How do you
Yeah.
get
Like
a
that's a
semi truck
bold move.
driver out of their truck? I guess
And
they
like
just
not only that, but I couldn't go drive a semi right now. I couldn't do that.
well, this
I
guy
can't drive a
couldn't
semi.
either.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is a wild move. Like this is the hardest decision. Like they come on, you have to climb up into the cab, get him out, and then drive that thing. This is bad decision making
Yeah, I think
whole way
maybe
through.
one of our first indications that this man was not in his right mind.
Exactly.
Um, The man drove the carjacked semi truck into other vehicles, eventually rolling the truck in the median, according to WSP. At this point, WSP closed both lanes of the I 5. After rolling the truck, the man refused to come out of the vehicle. Reports said he was extremely agitated. So,
Yeah.
reports of an
Just
extremely agitated man who's obviously like not in his right mind to begin with, but also he just crashed a fucking semi trailer. Is extremely agitated. So what do? They attempt to break the windshield with less lethal rounds, but were unable to. A ram was deployed on the end of a SWAT vehicle and used to remove the windshield. Officials said the
what?
man continued to refuse to come out of the semi truck, so authorities used pepper ball rounds, flashbangs, and other less lethal munitions to get him out. According to investigators, when the man came out of the semi truck, he was armed with a knife and reportedly charged at an officer. WSP advised that shots were fired at 3:48 p.m. An ambulance was on scene and treated the injured man, but he died at the scene. The Thurston County coroner on Monday said his cause of death was multiple gunshot wounds.
Jeez. Like what is the train of thought here?
The train of
What
thought is
this
we
is
only have a gun. That's all
yeah.
we have is a gun and a tank. So we need to solve this issue using they're like MacGyver. You know, MacGyver has like a paper clip and a gum wrapper,
Hmm.
and he needs to defuse a bomb. Yeah, all they have is a gun and a tank, and they need to figure out
Is more
some
bombs.
way,
Yeah.
yes, somehow to do this. The man was agitated, so they continuously fired fucking flashbangs, rammed the vehicle, shot pepper spray rounds, and then when the guy ran, like when they agitated and what is it called, like escalated the situation
Yeah.
enough, the guy finally charged at them, and they were like, okay, now we can really
Now,
solve
now
the
we can do
problem.
it. Well, yeah, you can't. He can't run at you from inside the cab, so they needed to get him out. Like this is what happened there because they show that they have non-lethal options. They show that they probably used them all, huh?
That's what it's
They probably used them all
their
trying to. That's what it
non-lethal
sounds like. Oh my
their
god,
non-lethal
that is what
options are
happened.
just different types of bullets for their gun.
How much you want to bet that like they try to like tase the truck? They're like, this will carry you. This will carry to him. He's not wearing rubber-soled
Yeah,
shoes. We're
let's
gonna
hope
go ahead
he's
and tase the
touching.
truck.
Yeah.
What?
Um
That is what happened.
and it's like this is
Wow.
the reality. So when people on the left, when we say like abolish the police or don't call the cops, it's not because there isn't crime. It's not because there isn't violence in society. It's just because the police do not know how to handle it. The police
At all.
cannot handle, they are incapable of responding appropriately to this shit.
Like this is such a funny example too because people get stuck in cars all the time. And there are like ways to get them out of those rolled vehicles all the time. Like there's means to do that. Lots of paramedics and firefighters do that stuff. Well, firefighters just all the time. Like they have tools to get people out of vehicles, whether they're aggressive or not. This was never the option. None of this was ever the option. Like none of this was the way to go.
Yeah, the
Like this makes
driving
no
factor
sense.
here seems to be that he was blocking traffic, so they wanted to solve this problem as quickly as possible.
Fast, yeah. Didn't have time for the job. You can't cut him out of there because if you just cut him out of there, you can get him out of there. You could like, but they never wanted to, they never wanted to like pull him out of there. They wanted him to get out and attack him, like you said. This is insane.
Yeah, they just tried to make him like crazy enough to attack them so that they could kill him. That's like that's literally what happened. So you get like all these replies in the comments of people performatively celebrating the violence, celebrating this tactical success by the police. Like Brad Sakali says, as they should, thumbs up. As they should have killed him, thumbs up. Ty Allen says, good. And it's like, I can see you being totally back the blue, totally on the side of police lives, and being like, oh, this was an unfortunate necessity. And it's like, no,
Right? Nope.
you have to perform your hatred of like criminals. You have to perform how much you hate it, because that's just part of the culture war. Is like the left, well, the left ramped up their side of the culture war by wanting to abolish the police. We're going to ramp up our side by throwing a party every time the cops kill a crazy person.
Yeah, and like the person, the victim here wasn't even you know like someone who they would like. He didn't do anything that wild. It's not like they're
It's pretty
saying, oh
wild.
yeah,
It's pretty.
get scum off the
That's
street.
like Grand Theft Auto
Yeah, but it's
shit.
not like, but it's still not like death sentence wild.
No,
You
no,
know, like
obviously
this,
not. No.
it's not. It's none of that stuff. It's just like, man, you're doing some Grand Theft Auto stuff. It's not like, I don't know. It's just, I see this happening when it's like a quote terrorist or something like that. But this is like just someone who doing some crimes, and like, yep, get rid of them, as you should. Good.
Yeah, my response to this, I commented, I was like, oh, so the cops aggravated a suspect for hours until he finally responded so they could kill him. Great work, boys. And I got some fun responses to this one. This guy, John, there's like I love exploring how they try to justify this, because in my mind,
Mhm.
it's like, this is just like a beautiful, like picturesque example of how the police handle these situations the wrong way. And John says criminal sympathizers will still say police didn't exhaust all methods to apprehend the suspect. And again,
Yeah.
it's like, exhaust all they just shot different types of things at him.
Yeah, and they didn't even shoot those things at him when he was out of the vehicle. When you are supposed to use the non-lethal stuff, like that's when you should have been. I don't know. That's when you should have been using that stuff.
You
Like we
get that
said,
you
it
use
was
the
probably all
non-lethal
gone.
you use the non-lethal stuff to get them to run at you so you can use the lethal stuff.
They like honestly didn't want to damage the truck that bad. They wanted to try to like keep the truck in in like the best condition possible.
Man, we shot pepper spray balls at him. We shot rubber bullets at him. We shot beanbags at him. We're running out of things to shoot at him.
Yeah,
God.
it's the only way. It's the only thing we can do. I isn't like guy running up to you with a knife kind of like the dream of a cop to do the whole like you get to do like a cool like you know body flip thing. You get to show like your hand to hand combat skills. This is like because it's just a knife, and you're probably wearing stuff that's not quite that easy. This is your time to show that you know how to fight, and they're like, nope, because that would have been way sicker.
It would have been, but the like the training you get is that you never want to have to touch a suspect. Like you will be killed if you ever come into contact with a person on the street. You need them 20 feet away, dead on the ground. That's the ideal suspect.
Yeah, absolutely. What if there's drug powder on the suspect? You might die.
Randy says, right, they should have sent in social workers to politely offer him and give him vouchers for 3 hots and a cot. And I said, yeah, they should have sent social workers in there. Like they absolutely, because people were like, what should they have done then? What would you have done, Alex? I was like, well, I'm not a social worker, so I don't know why you're asking me. We should talk to those people. We should talk to the people who have to deal with mentally unwell people all the time as part of their job, as part of their training. We should talk to those people maybe. And John says, let's not forget he put himself in that situation. You are showing the world you are a criminal sympathizer.
I mean, yeah.
And I was like, yeah,
I'm a criminal sympathizer.
I do sympathize with criminals to a certain. They're human beings, man. I don't think they're animals to be slaughtered. Sorry, I guess we differ. We differ in that respect. And then about the social worker thing, John said, well, what if the subject charged the social worker with the knife and killed the social worker? Like you said, the guy was flipped out on drugs, had a mental episode, and unpredictable. And I said, yeah, that's the reality of being a social worker, is that it's actually a dangerous job. It's not like a cop where you can just kill your way out of every single problem.
Yep.
That's the nature of dealing with crime, is that sometimes you might be in a dangerous situation.
Yeah. And like they already are in the situations anyways. They're actually going to this guy's house sometimes. Like they're actually these hypotheticals that you're worried about are actually happening anyways. And it's funny because like that's like that was my biggest gripe with with the shows that do the police propaganda stuff, like like the 911, is the thing they do in those shows that never happens in real life is, and the shows are like, hey, what's going on, man? What's going on? What's happening? Why are you doing this? They do that in the shows. They don't do that in real life.
Yeah.
Because that does make a huge difference. Who knows? That guy might have said some stuff that wasn't coherent or whatever, but it might have gone somewhere that wasn't here.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a hard job dealing with mentally ill people. Like, not all mentally ill people, you know what I'm saying? Dealing with like severely mentally ill people is a very difficult job. And it's not one that we should relegate to police. It's like the least compassionate people in society, the people who self-select for like brutalizing people. It's so, I kept getting called a criminal sympathizer in this
I
comment
love
section,
that.
which was great. Travis said, no sympathy here for criminal sympathizers. They deserve all the grief they are obviously okay with. Me, I've got a 357 Magnum on the nightstand and a CCP with a holster in my Bronco.
Okay.
And I was just like, I hope you have something better to do than fantasizing about killing people in your truck. And then he was
But
like, oh, go ahead.
but also like he's saying the "we don't call cops" sign. We don't, and like we're also saying that. So like, what are you doing? What is the point of what you're saying here, bud? At no point are you saying that you're not going to protect yourself from somebody, but he's making it seem like he's out here like hunting for criminals.
Well, this is always their argument. It's like, oh, if you have a problem with how the police handled the situation, this criminal is going to come to your house and kill you. This is like their go-to argument. Like, what would you do if they were running into your house? And it's like, well, no, that's not at all what happened. First of all, my door is locked at night, so
Yeah.
it's not going to pull it open like it's a car door. But yeah, I
Well,
was like,
that's actually the trick, though. They just start running really, really fast, and then when they get to your door, they can just run through your door. And what
yeah.
are you gonna do then?
Well, I'll wait. I'll see them coming because I'm constantly vigilant. I'll see them coming. They're back
Yeah.
up like 100 feet to run really fast. And they started a dead sprint at my door. I open my door at the last second, and they
Oh
run
shit! Oh
right
shit!
through my house and through the back door, which is also open.
That's amazing. That's genius. And then you have that pit in your backyard, right?
Yeah,
That they fall into.
yeah,
And it's funny to watch them kind of like run in the air before they
yeah.
drop. That's the best part.
I look down and say, "Yipe."
Yep.
But yeah, I was like, dude, like I hope you have something more going in your life than like this fantasy, this death wish fantasy you have. And he said, is that how you criminal sympathizers think? That gun owning Second Amendment supporters fantasize about killing people? Really?
Yeah.
You can't be that
Yeah,
stupid.
dog.
Oh wait, dot dot dot. You are. Rolling eyes emoji. And I was like, dude, you just posted on Facebook about how you wanted to do this. It's public.
Yeah,
Everybody
you
could see
just said it.
what you just said about carrying with you constantly so you can do this to somebody.
We're responding to that comment right now. That's where you're at. You're in the comments of what you're saying you don't say.
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, it's you leftists are just anti-gun or whatever." And I was like, I'm a gun owner, man. I just don't post about it. I don't brag about
Yeah.
it on the internet." And he said, "No, you just brag online that you wouldn't use your gun if the dude is charging at you with a knife like the cops did because he doesn't deserve to die because he had a mental problem." Crying, laughing, 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 crying, laughing. I'm sure if he
It
was
is.
breaking down your door with a knife, you'd ask him if he wanted a Christmas cookie with milk too. Dot dot dot. Crying, laughing, crying, laughing, crying, laughing, crying, laughing, crying, laughing, crying, laughing, crying, laughing,
Jeez.
crying, laughing, crying, laughing, crying, laughing.
At least he thinks that you drink milk. He didn't say, soy milk or something like that. At
Yeah.
least he didn't steep that low.
Man, that's so many crying, laughing emojis. He is having so much. He is laughing so hard. He's
He's laughing.
definitely
He probably
not mad at all.
he probably like did that thing where your head starts to hurt a little bit because you're crying so hard you can't breathe. Talking about that, like
Yeah.
that little that thing that happens. It happens to you all the time when we talk. I know.
Yeah. Dude, there's 20 crying, laughing. There's more than 20. There's like 23 crying, laughing emojis
There's
in
a
this
bunch.
comment. This is the least
There's a
mad
bunch.
anyone has ever been.
No, no one's ever been. He's blissful right now. Actually,
Uh, yeah, this is another argument from John who said police used all possible methods to get him to cooperate and to get him out of the vehicle, and he charged at officers with a weapon. What sane people would not shoot at a target charging at them with a weapon? You telling me you would not shoot at a person charging you with a weapon? And my answer to this is, What insane person would not charge at the people shooting at them with a weapon in the
Yeah.
first place?
Yeah.
Like, even if you're
Like,
not insane, it's still kind of a logical response to like respond to the people who have been attacking you for an hour to finally flip out on them.
yeah,
And then
if we remove the cops from the scenario, it is a person shooting flash grenades and pepper spray and all those things into the cab of a car another person's in. That person's going to attack you. There's just no way around it. There's
yeah.
just no way around. That's what's going to happen. It's like, come on.
And then another rhetorical question while we're asking rhetorical questions. What sane person would repeatedly shoot at a crazy person? Like
Right?
why would you do that, man? They're
Yeah.
far away. They've actually encased themselves. They've contained themselves in the cab of a vehicle. Everybody is safe right now. What are you doing?
Yep. Yep. Yeah, you just got to chill. You just got to be patient.
No. No, it's
No, not possible.
Friday traffic or whatever this was, Thursday traffic.
Yeah. You're not
Yeah.
thinking about the economy, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, incredible. We are going to start a band though called Criminal Sympathizer.